This video has been brought to you by Final Fantasy VII The First Soldier. Download today using the link in the description box below to prepare for Season 2, the Dragoon class, and more. Yo, this month really ended off on a banger. It is your boy HMK once again, and we got some information when it comes to Final Fantasy VII Remake, and more when it comes to the 35th anniversary of Final Fantasy and the 25th anniversary for Final Fantasy VII. And producer Kitase has confirmed that Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 is more likely going to have a big reveal and more information this year, which will also go in line with the release of Final Fantasy Origins Stranger of Paradise, and more information about Final Fantasy 16 that's happening in spring, and then of course the Kingdom Hearts 20th anniversary event. So many anniversaries for Square Enix is happening this year, and it looks like they're gonna jump on the hype. Now, when speaking of Part 2 of Final Fantasy VII Remake, he said that there will be more information this year if we can. We just started the anniversary, the 25th anniversary of Final Fantasy VII, so we want to celebrate and get fans excited. So within the next 12 months, you know, this is January, yeah, we want to share some information. Look forward to that information. Now, this information came out from a live stream that is meant to celebrate the 25th anniversary of Final Fantasy VII. And it's crazy to think that game is actually 25 years old, and it's an amazing game. I love the original, I love Remake, and everybody's showing off their support for the 25th anniversary of this game. You can check out this awesome Kingdom Hearts edit that the Kingdom Hearts Twitter account, the social media account, said in celebration for the 25th anniversary of Final Fantasy VII. As we all know, Cloud, Sephiroth, a lot of Final Fantasy VII characters appear within the Kingdom Hearts series, and this just looks so good as Sora doing the pose from Cloud when he's, you know, in the backdrop of Midgar, but in the backdrop it's like a combination of Scarlet at Hyrule and a dark version of the final world, you know, with nighttime and stuff like that. It's just a celebration thing. I don't think there's any type of lore connected to this, so before you say like, oh, Kingdom Hearts 4 confirmed for this, that, Midgar, Cloud, all that good jazz, nah, it's just a celebrational piece that I feel is really cool. I mean, that's wallpaper material. I mean, it's awesome. When speaking on Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2, a lot of other things have been coming out of the woodwork when it comes to last year, going into this year to a possible release, which we, you know, should be bracing for thanks to producer Kitase. And of course, creative director Tetsuya Nomura has confirmed that Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 is going to make more use of the PlayStation 5's exclusive features, more so than integrated, which if you haven't played integrated, if you have a PS5, I definitely recommend it. It's really nice and super slick. Like, I actually made a game. When I'm like, Final Fantasy VII Remake was like my game of the year, and then integrate made it like, oh, so much better. It's really nice. And Nomura even went out and created this awesome new 25th anniversary logo for Final Fantasy VII. I'm just like, it looks like they're going to be celebrating in a big way. Other than that, when it comes to Final Fantasy VII Remake, specifically when it comes to Final Fantasy VII, we had some more information because the live stream that we had was specifically for Final Fantasy VII The First Soldier. Now, in The First Soldier, when it comes to Season 2, we're going to be having the Dragoon class. We're going to be getting some awesome low party skins for Cloud, Tifa, Barret, and all the rest of them for the game. And if you guys don't know what Final Fantasy VII The First Soldier is, yeah. Defend your honor and become the first of Shinra's elite in Final Fantasy VII The First Soldier. Set 30 years before the events of Final Fantasy VII, experience the first RPG-infused Battle Royale entry in the Final Fantasy series. Explore the expansive, familiar setting of Midgar using spells, weapons, and special abilities as you overwhelm your opponents in this highly varied, high-octane strategic combat. In one of the most robust battle royales I ever played, you could be an all-around warrior, a sorcerer with expanded magic. Maybe sneaking around as a ninja is more your style. Dispatch your enemies at a distance as a ranger, or bring the fight to them as a monk. Level up your skills and upgrade your equipment in real time as you take to the battlefield, fighting both your opponents and monsters in order to gain XP. From creative director Tetsuya Nomura, learn the secrets behind the beginning of Shinra's Elite Soldier program. Download today on your mobile device using the link in the description box below. I already racked up a couple of wins in this free to download, free to play battle royal, so the competition is gonna be fierce. Can you become history's first soldier? If you think so, then I'll see you in Final Fantasy VII, The First Soldier. So when it comes to the whole celebration of Final Fantasy VII, they did confirm that we're going to get more information about Final Fantasy VII Remake, along with that of Final Fantasy VII The First Soldier support, and the incoming release of Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, which I'm really looking forward to. Like, you don't understand, Ever Crisis looks so hyped for me. I'm really looking forward to that games within Ever Crisis, because we're gonna have playable versions of Advent Children, and then finally we're gonna have an adaptation that comes overseas for Before Crisis and Crisis Core. And I'm really excited to see all the compilation of Final Fantasy VII that leading into Remake or whatever. Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VII Advent Children, Before Crisis, Crisis Core, Dirge of Cerberus readapted like this. You guys don't understand. I'm super excited for Ever Crisis. Over at Square Enix, they've already confirmed that we're gonna get some sort of like renaissance beyond that of Final Fantasy VII, all those other projects, stating that with all these exciting new projects, I get a real sense of how more and more people are supporting Final Fantasy VII. Not just fans of the original game, but also those that have never experienced it and being drawn to the unique world of Final Fantasy VII. There are even more Final Fantasy VII projects that started up after the remake coming in the future too. This team sees to the 25th anniversary as a waypoint on our adventure with Final Fantasy VII, and will continue pressing ahead to greater things, so please keep supporting us going forward. I cannot wait, because like Final Fantasy VII honestly is one of my favorite Final Fantasy games, and of course, you know, it's a big deal when you connect it over to Kingdom Hearts, which is something that is like a huge deal for me. So seeing all of this, you know, updates and new stuff coming out of the woodwork, I am so down for it. Give me more. So I want to know what you guys think about all these developments of Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2, Ever Crisis, The First Soldier, all that good jazz. Leave your comments and thoughts and theories in the comment section below, and be sure to download Final Fantasy VII The First Soldier. Big thanks to Square Enix for sponsoring the video. So until the next one, this has been HMK, and I'll check you guys later.